And hello YouTube, and welcome back to another episode of The Zone TV Movie Entertainment with me, your host Jonathan, once again bringing you my thoughts and review for today's episode and final episode of Star Wars The Clone Wars Season 7. And may the Force be with you, and happy Star Wars Day to everyone. So Clone Wars is done. This episode, pretty much, I'm going to try to recap the entire series in this video, but I'm just going to get to the gist of it. Star Wars The Clone Wars. When it first came on, it was supposed to be like a little sequel of and before kind of episode 2 to episode 3. We're going to get all the episodes and like tell what was the Clone Wars, how did it start. We all know how it started. It started in Kamino when the Senate supposedly created them. They wanted them for the Jedi Order, but secretly they were really the Emperor's idea, and you know, to pretty much eventually wipe all the Jedi out and pretty much build the empire that we all know and love and hate. So we got to see that during seasons 1 through 6. You know, we got to see a whole bunch of episodes with Count Dooku, with Yoda, Grievous, Obi-Wan, Anakin. Anakin had his own apprentice, which her name was Ahsoka Tano, which is she's such a cool character. I really enjoyed her. You know, a lot of people didn't like her in the beginning. I can understand why. She kind of was like a little whiny little brat. Sure, whatever. To me, she was cool. You know, she had carried 2 green lightsabers at the time. As the seasons progressed, she got better and better and better, and her character arc became her own. And then she went on to do things that, you know, we don't really didn't see from everybody else. I mean, we all know what Anakin eventually becomes. We all know what happens to Obi-Wan eventually. We all know what happens to Yoda eventually. We all knew what happened to Padme eventually. May she rest in peace. You know, but we didn't know what happened to Ahsoka moving forward. I mean, throughout the whole first 6 seasons, we all know what happens to her. Obviously, she becomes a Jedi. She becomes more self-aware. She helps out the Clone Wars, you know, being a general in her own right. And then we don't see her again until Rebels. And then when Rebels comes on, and if you don't know what Rebels are, Rebels is a show that takes place before Episode 4. And I believe it's a little bit before Episode Rogue One as well. It could be after. I'm not too sure about that, but you can leave a comment below if you guys know more about it. Anyway, so we don't see her until that. She comes back, more of a badass than ever. She has 2 white hilted lightsabers, white this time. She purified the crystals. So she's pretty much the white crystal is pretty much meaning that you don't choose sides between the dark or the light. You're just neutral, pretty much. That's what it is. So we don't see her there, but we always wanted to know what happened to her. How did she get to that point? Well, we got it. Season 7 of Clone Wars is that arc. Because in season 6 of Clone Wars, she got framed for a crime that she did not commit. She pretty much, you know, cleared her name, but then she decided, hey, listen, the Jedi right now are a little bit too shaky, a little bit questionable. I need to leave. I need to find out who I am. Anakin was like begging her, don't go. He was the master. He wanted to protect her. And she's like, you know, I care for you. You're my master. You always will be. But I got to find who I am. So she leaves. She leaves the Jedi Order, and it pretty much ends there. We did get she left in season 5, I believe, or a little bit after season 6. So she leaves. We don't see from her until Clone Wars, because at that point, Star Wars Clone Wars was done. They were going to focus on Rebels, and then we see her again, because she's just a cool character. She comes back, more badass than ever, like I said before. But we always wanted to know what happened to her. Well, in season 7, in this season, we do find out what happened to her. She didn't really leave the planet as we thought. She just went kind of like the lower tier place, you know, how upper, you know, everybody's like all rich and fancy and all that, you know, the Senate lives and the Jedi Temple. She pretty much went to the underground where, you know, the poor people live and all that. So she ends up meeting a bunch of, you know, space traders. She meets them. She hangs out for them for a little bit. They try to fix her speed bike so she can actually leave. And then things end up happening where, you know, she finds out that they're spice traders, so she ends up helping them out. Her 2 friends get into some trouble, as normally people would do if you were surrounded by the Jedi, but she doesn't say that she was a Jedi Knight at one point, because, you know, apparently they have a bad history. The two girls had a bad history with the Jedis, apparently, so she kept that to herself. So they go into the adventure, you know, they, you know, meet some trouble, they try to get some cargo back for somebody, and, you know, things like that. And then eventually they end up finding out about Darth Maul. Darth Maul was pretty much doing secret things that he wasn't supposed to be doing, and everybody thought Darth Maul was dead. You know, Obi-Wan knew he was alive after he found out after he cut him in half in episode 1. He survived. If you guys don't know, he did survive. He had robot legs, but then he got healed. You know, we got to see him having a brother, but his brother ends up getting killed by the Emperor when they had a huge 2-on-1 lightsaber duel against him. At one point, Darth Maul took control over the Mandalorians. You know, they were pretty much, you know, on top of the world. Darth Maul came, challenged the leader at that point, who had the dark saber, which, if you guys watch the Mandalorian TV show, you know what that saber is the black saber that the Mandalorians have as a weapon to pretty much counter the lightsaber. He wins it, he takes control, he takes over Mandalorian, and the Queen, who was pretty much, I guess you can say the girlfriend of Obi-Wan a little bit, but we really don't know about it too much. His secret girlfriend or whatever. He liked her, whatever. She ends up dying. Her sister tries to stop him. Then, of course, you know, Obi-Wan shows up, helps out. But then, the last time we see Darth Maul, he gets electrocuted by the Emperor. And he's like, don't worry, I have plans for you. And then we don't see him until the end of Season 7 of Rebels. Season 7 of Clone Wars, which he ends up starts fighting Ahsoka. So then he finds out about certain things about Anakin. He finds out he's like the one to pretty much change everything. He finds out he's the chosen one, which theoretically he still is the chosen one. It's just that his path got sidetracked a little bit when he became the dark side. But remember, at episode 6, he turned back to good and threw the Emperor over. How he survived, don't ask. I'm not gonna talk about that that moment. But yeah, and then we got to see some cool action scenes in this thing. We got to see Ahsoka fight Darth Maul again. That was some cool stuff. You know, the Clone Wars had some great action scenes. You know, they had some great lightsaber fights. And then we find out from last week's episode that Execute Order 66 happened during Ahsoka's time as well. So we got to hear the dialogue from the movies into the animated episode. So that was cool. And then, of course, this episode was about her trying to escape and how she pretty much separates herself from everybody, including Anakin. And then at that point, Anakin was already Darth Vader. And at the end of the episode, he finds her lightsaber. He finds her lightsaber in the ground, in the snow, basically saying and sensing she's out there. She's out there in the universe, hiding in exile. Because remember, in episode 3, Obi-Wan went into exile. He went to Tatooine to look after Luke. Yoda went to Dagobah and disappeared as well. Padme, unfortunately, has died. She's dead. She's buried, I think, in Naboo. And then, of course, Darth Vader's Darth Vader, looking at the construction of the Death Star, which is before Rogue One. So that was cool. And obviously episode 4. And Princess Leia's hanging out, and you know, with her new family. So that was, so we all know all that stuff. So did Clone Wars deliver? Yes, I think it did. I really enjoyed it. I really think Clone Wars was a fun animated show, and it was connected to the universe itself. And I'm kind of glad that it's connected. And now that we've seen this season, it just makes the whole, I guess, pie complete, if you think about it. So basically, you have to go episode 1, episode 2, 1 through 6 of Clone Wars, then you go episode 3 / season 7 of Clone Wars, then Rogue One, Solo, or switch it up a little bit with whatever one it is, then 4, 5, 6, Mandalorian, 7, 8, 9. So yeah. Oh no, you can't forget Rebels. You gotta put Rebels before episode 4 and Rogue One. So there you go with that. And yeah, that's the whole complete saga of Star Wars. And, you know, now that Star Wars is officially done for now, what's next? Well, honestly, I don't know. Obviously, we are going to get more Star Wars movies eventually. We're going to have to just wait a little bit. Maybe a long time for now. Obviously, not counting because of the whole pandemic we are in now. But I think we eventually will get episode 10 of Star Wars. The way, you know, who knows what they're going to do with that. Are they going to continue the Skywalker saga? Are they not going to continue it? Are they just going to have Rey doing her own thing? Are we going to get new characters? Who knows? I think we will get episode 10, but it's going to be very, very different. As of cartoons, I don't know. I mean, what can they do? I mean, we have The Mandalorian. Season 2 is coming. They just announced Season 3. So we're going to get that. So that's going to be fun. More Baby Yoda. Yay. But yeah, Clone Wars is done now. Without Clone Wars, like, what's left? I mean, they already finished Rebels. Resistance is, I think it's done as well. That's the other show. It takes place, I think, a little bit after Season 7. Season 6. Episode 6 before Mandalorian, I believe. I'm not too sure about that one. I got into it, then I kind of dropped off of it. I didn't really like it too much. Anyway, but without Clone Wars, what's left? Well, we still don't know what happened to Ahsoka, so maybe we'll get an Ahsoka show. I would like to know what happens to her afterwards, because when this episode ended today, we knew what happens to her. She disappears, and we don't see her until Rebels. Rebels shows up, and then end of Rebels, she disappears again. You know, one of the seasons she fought Darth Vader, she survived it, and then she walks off. She comes back again, and then disappears with one of the main characters, and we don't see her again. So, what happened to her again? Who knows? Maybe we'll get something with that. Possibly, maybe. Likely, who knows? But overall, I really enjoyed this series a lot. I really enjoyed. There are some episodes, especially in this season, Season 7. You know, there were some episodes that were like a little bit, okay, come on, can we just get to the good stuff? And then when it started picking up, when the show at the near its end started using actual Star Wars themes, that's when it got real. And that's how I started connecting the dots with the other thing. So once I watch episode 3 again, I'm going to put on Clone Wars, that one episode where the Order 66 happens, and put it in simultaneously. It's going to feel so much easier to watch. Because now we know that when that was happening, that scene when all the Jedis were getting wiped out, Ahsoka was dealing with the same problem from last week's episode. And in this week's episode, she had to escape. So that was fun. And of course, we know what happens to Darth Maul. If you guys want to know, I'll tell you right now. Spoiler if you haven't seen Rebels, so you've been warned. We do see him again in Rebels. And he ends up trying to pretty much... He knows what happens to all the Jedi. He knows a lot of them die and all this and that, but he wants to know if Obi-Wan died. You know, he wanted to be the one to kill Obi-Wan, and then he ends up finding that Obi-Wan survived, and his mission is basically trying to find him and kill him himself. He eventually does, and then he goes to Tatooine to fight him one last time, and Obi-Wan schools him. Yeah. Schools him like a fool. One fight to the finish, death. That's it, done. And he ends him. And that's how Darth Maul dies. He dies in Tatooine. He's in Tatooine, dead, buried, gone, eaten by the sand people or whatever. Bones and everything. Carcass is dead. So he's gone forever. But Ahsoka, we still don't know about. Could she still be alive? And during season 4, 5, and 6, maybe after 7, 8, 9, who knows? We don't know idea. I mean, we do hear her voice at episode 9, spoiler for that movie. You know, when Rey was listening to all the Jedis in the past, so she had to die eventually. So what happened to her before that? Maybe we'll get something with it. But overall, like I said before, I really enjoyed Clone Wars. I thought it was a fun show. Am I satisfied that the way it ended? Not really, but then again, I understand why the way they ended it. Where Darth Vader finding the lightsaber and then sensing the fact that she's out there somewhere. Now he has a mission of his own, because it brings that moment to connect it to when he fights her in Rebels. And that fight scene is amazing. If you want to just look it up on YouTube, just put Ahsoka Tano versus Darth Vader full fight. You'll get that. It's a Rebels episode, 2-parter. OMG. That fight scene was crazy. It was basically master versus apprentice, and who was the better version. Obviously, if you know Darth Vader, you know what happens. But I'm not gonna say anything else. If you really want to watch Rebels, go watch Rebels. I think Rebels was a great show afterwards. But now that Clone Wars is officially done, yeah, I guess I have to be satisfied for the way it ended. I'm glad it's connected to episode 3 more. It makes episode 3 more sensible now, you know. And I like episode 3. It's my favorite out of the prequels. I'm not a big prequel fan. You know, the only reason I really enjoy those movies is because obviously lightsaber fights are all the best. You know, we get to see Yoda fight. I love, you know, all that. And I love Natalie Portman. She's my favorite actress of all time, and she's Padme, so she'll always be Padme for life. So anyway, other than that, episode 3 is the only movie I enjoy because we got to see Darth Vader become Darth Vader. And then, of course, we got to see some fights between the Emperor and Yoda. Mace Windu, who knows what the heck happened to him. Some people say he's still alive, but who knows. You're still waiting for that, so by episode 9, he's dead, so there's that. So he could have survived and then died of old age or something, but who knows. But yeah, now that Clone Wars is done, it pretty much completes the prequel saga, and I think they did a good job with it. I think they really did a good job. Like I said, you know, there are certain episodes that are like, ugh, you know, that goes for the whole thing. You know, there were some great episodes with Count Dooku. There was some great, you know, they didn't really show too much of Grievous in the cartoon, which is kind of a bummer because, you know, we don't really know too much about him. But you know, that was cool. We got to see another an assassin type, you know, character, Saw's Ventress. She has 2 red hilted lightsabers. She was my favorite as well. She always hated Ahsoka, so, you know, there was the rivalry there. So what happened to her, we have no idea. We still don't even know what happened to her. They didn't even mention her in the last season, so, of this season, so, who knows? She could be out there somewhere too, hiding, you know. And then, of course, we got to see at the end of the episode as well, not only Darth Vader, we got to see the Stormtroopers, we got to see Snow, so I assumed they were in Hoth in that planet when he found the lightsaber. And then it just ends. Knowing that Ahsoka and Rex survived, and obviously we all know that Obi-Wan and Yoda survived. They're all gone, separated. Luke is being, you know, as a baby. And Princess Leia is just doing her thing, being a princess in her own planet. So, yep. Now, the story is officially complete. Star Wars is officially done until we have to wait for the next stuff. So, leave me a comment below. Let me know what you guys thought about it. Stay tuned for more, and may the Force be with you. Thank you very much, and have a good day.